But I want you to understand that falling is a part of learning to walk. What child learns how to stand without falling? When a child first pulls themselves up on furniture, and when they are able to stand, the first thing that they do, they just start standing, and it's a real unstable kind of a stance. They start almost like a weeble wobble, but they don't fall down, but they're sort of staggering almost like a drunk person. And then they'll all of a sudden just collapse and fall to the ground. It's a part of their learning to stand. And until you learn how to stand, you can't learn how to walk. I need a grace until I've learned to stand stably and then take a few steps and then fall. It's a part of the learning process of how God teaches us and grows us and develops us. Proverbs chapter 24 and verse 16 says that the godly may trip 7 times or fall 7 times, but they will get up again. But one disaster is enough to overthrow the wicked. You see, but God helps us that the godly may fall 7 times, but they'll get back up again. We get back up.
When we start off each day complaining, because here's the thing about complaining. Complaining almost always lacks perspective. What we are missing in the midst of our negative attitude and our complaining and whining is perspective. Instead of focusing on the goodness and the grace of God in our lives, we get fixated on what we don't have, on what someone else has instead of us. And we can lose perspective. And we just forget about how we've been blessed. God, forgive me for the days I've not been grateful.
He brings people in and moves people out. Quit being discouraged over who walked away. If they left you, you didn't need them. If they walked away, let them go. God has new relationships, new opportunities. If you had to have them to fulfill your destiny, they wouldn't be able to leave. You have to accept that it's a necessary ending, that God is changing the season. And they may be a good person. You enjoyed the time together, but to become who you were created to be, they have to exit the stage. You have to move forward into new relationships, new opportunities, and new growth.
And you know what we want to feel like? And I don't think it's wrong. You just want to feel like you're doing good in life. You just want to feel like you're keeping a good pace, you're on a good path, you're making a difference, and every once in a while you want to know that you're passing a few people. I don't even know what that means, passing a few, but you just want to feel like, I'm kind of around in the corner here and I'm kind of on my way, making a difference. And then what happens? Life. I've quoted Mike Tyson and this one quote so many times. I quoted it yesterday. We were doing an interview with some friends and I said, Mike Tyson always said, and he meant this about his fighting. I love this statement. He's like, everyone's like, Mike, what are you gonna do? So-and-so's gonna fight you. Are you worried? He's like, everybody's got a plan. These dudes can plan, but the plan's out the window when they get punched in the face. Sounds like life, right? Everybody's got big plans. And all of a sudden we got punched by life. It's gonna happen. And all of a sudden you're like, well, that big old punch in the face wasn't in the plan. What do I do now? And all of a sudden it's like, well, I think maybe all is lost and I'll just go ahead and give up.
I'm pleading with you today, whatever God is trying to do in your life right now, even if you don't understand it, don't run away from it. Trust God. Let Him do what He wants to do in you so you can have the life that He really wants you to have.
And this is the paradox of the Christian faith, that freedom comes through surrender. Victory comes through submission. It's all backwards. It's different than what the world tells you. D.L. Moody says this: the world has yet to see what God will do with the man fully consecrated to Him. Fear of surrender will keep you from finding freedom in Jesus. There's a video on YouTube, I've watched it dozens of times, but it's how to catch a baboon. And so it takes place like in the jungles of Africa, there on the plain, there's a baboon and there's a guy who wants to catch it. And so what he does is he goes to the termite mound. Now, I didn't know this about termite mounds, but they're almost like made out of concrete, really, really hard. And so he goes and he drills a hole in the termite mound, and the baboon's just watching him. They're really curious animals, evidently. And he takes this little silver trinket, like a little silver ball or bell or something, and he places it in the hole, and the baboon sees the whole thing go down. The man walks off, baboon climbs down the tree, walks up to the termite mound, puts his hand in, grabs it, but can't get his fist out, right? And so the man then walks up to the baboon, approaches the baboon. Baboon begins to go crazy. He starts squealing and screeching and flipping. It's like he's gonna rip his arm off. He can't get his fist out. All he has to do is let it go. And the man just slips the noose around his neck, takes him to captivity. And I wonder, like, you don't think that Satan wants to take some of you or all of you to captivity? Using the thing that you're afraid to let go? You think he doesn't want to keep you a slave to sin? It's time to give it up. All he has to do is let it go.
And if I could hope for you to leave here this morning with one thing, it would be this: to start trusting God with things that you've been trusting yourself with. Proverbs 3:5 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will make your path straight. That word trust in that verse basically comes from the meaning of putting your full weight on something. And if I know this will help you should write this down. Since God sees all, you can trust him with all of you. God sees your frustration. And I just tell you can trust him with all of you. God sees your health condition. You can trust him with all of you. God sees your mental health. You can trust him with all of you. God sees the challenging home dynamics. You can trust him with all of you. God sees the tension between your friendships. You can trust him with all of you. Keep praying to God because he sees you.
Enjoy where you are.
God's always up to doing something new. Listen to Isaiah 43, verse 18. Don't remember the former things. Don't consider the things of old. Behold, I am doing a new thing. God tells us, don't dwell on the past.
In Genesis chapter 3 specifically, you have the account of where sin entered the earth. We call it the fall of mankind. God had given Adam and Eve instructions, and then on the scene comes Satan. He wants to derail the plan of God. He wants to take us captive. So how does he do it in the Garden of Eden in Genesis chapter 3? Does he do it with a gun? He doesn't even use intimidation. What does he use? He uses a thought, which is a lie. Satan comes to Eve and he says, did God really say? Those are the first words Satan spoke to mankind. Did God really? Is that really true what God said? And with that thought, which was a lie, because remember, the devil cannot defeat you until he disarms you.
I feel like I am drowning. Have you ever been in a situation in life where it seems like it is battering you wave after wave after wave after wave, and you feel like you are dead in the water?
Jesus can use our little faith. Some of y'all are waiting to get great faith to do great things from God. And I want you to know, big miracles are the result of little faith in your life. Jesus says it this way in Matthew chapter 17, very truly I tell you, if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, you can say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, because nothing will be impossible to you. That's for us as believers. Nothing is impossible. So I want you to know, you don't have to have great faith to experience great things from God. It starts with little faith to just say, in the middle of this trial, in the middle of this battle, in the middle of the storm, God, I'm going to turn to you.
God is attracted to a grateful heart. An attitude of gratitude brings both his presence and his blessings. God is attracted to grateful hearts. Consider this, and I bet it's a verse that you know. Psalm 100 and verse 4. Enter into his gates with thanksgiving or gratitude, and his courts with praise. Be thankful unto him and bless his name. Through thanksgiving, we enter into his gates.
We have an enemy, right? We have the enemy of our soul, the devil, who's out to steal, kill, and destroy our faith and our joy. And his number one tactic and his number one ploy against the children of God are thoughts. The fiery darts of the enemy. They're aimed right at our mind. That's why we have the shield of faith, right? But the greatest battlefield of the ages will not take place in some country on some piece of land. It will happen between the ears.
Friend, he is a good God.
There's going to come a time when all your theology will go upside down. There's going to come a time when you won't understand where God is. You're going to be in such darkness, you won't see your hand in front of your face. You know what you do then? Isaiah said, just stay upon your God. Trust him. Trust him.